All right, we're going to go ahead and get started to respect everyone's time. I want to thank everyone for joining us today for Driving Small Businesses the Distance. Today, we will be covering responding to CTA contract opportunities. For today's agenda, you'll be hearing from me, Chanel Harmon. I'll be covering diversity programs, and then I'll pass it along to Brendan Whitry from our purchasing department to cover responding to CTA contract opportunities. Hello, everyone. My name is Chanel Harmon, and I am the coordinator for small business development and outreach. I'll be covering the diversity programs, and we're going to go ahead and start with certification. So the CTA Small Business Program is designed to give certified small businesses an opportunity primes on CTA contracts. Under the program, select contracts are set aside for small businesses to bid on as prime contractors. If you are certified as a DBE with one of the other 4 Illinois Unified Certification Program members, you are considered an SBE. CTA only accepts the DBE certification from CTA, the Illinois Department of Transportation, PACE, Metra, and the City of Chicago. Our workforce initiatives. We consistently work with our workforce initiative partners, Hire 360 and Chicago Cook Workforce. Together with them, we offer apprenticeships and mentoring programs to help participants participate on RPM opportunities and other contracts that we have coming up. Our Mentor Protege program. Our Mentor Protege program was created to enhance the capability of DBE firms and increase opportunities for DBE participation on CTA contracts. We offer technical assistance in the form of contracting strategies. This involves helping firms identify which contract opportunity is right for them. Market research. This involves helping the firm identify where the most opportunities lie. Marketing to the primes. We host various outreach meetings so smaller firms are able to connect with primes working on CTA contracts. Access to capital. We offer access to capital through our Building Small Businesses program that offers cash flow resources to help businesses successfully operate on CTA contracts. We also offer educational resources in the form of Driving Small Businesses the Distance, as well as the Small Business Educational Series. The Small Business Educational Series is a 9-week cohort taught by industry leaders. Topics covered include budgeting, estimating, and project management, just to name a few. The purpose of the series is to help businesses successfully perform on CTA contracts. There are various ways for you to connect with us through outreach events. We also welcome one-on-one consultations. Diversity Programs is your #1 advocate, and however we can assist, we want to hear from you. We also have a Dve Advisory Committee. This is where concerns of DBE firms are addressed and recommendations for operational and administrative improvements are made. We also encourage you to attend our pre-bid meetings. This is the opportunity for you to speak with procurement administrators and have your questions answered pertaining to specific contracts that you may be interested in bidding on. We also encourage you to connect with us via social media, whether it be through Facebook, LinkedIn, or our CTA YouTube page, Doors Opening. We encourage you to register as a CTA vendor. As I previously mentioned, we set specific contracts aside for DBEs to bid on. The more contracts that the more DBEs that we have in a specific category when setting aside these contracts, the better. So we always encourage you to register as a CTA vendor. Consider obtaining the DBE certification. CTA only accepts the DBE certification. We encourage you to review current solicitations through our bonfire portal. This is where the most updated opportunities are listed, and Brendan will go into more detail about this in his covering of upcoming contracting opportunities. We also encourage you to take a look at our buying plan. This is a forecast of future opportunities that are coming down the pipeline, so you have opportunity to prepare. And next, I will pass it along to Brendan to cover responding to CTA contracting opportunities.
All right, thanks, Janelle. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brendan Woodtree. I'm a senior manager in the purchasing department, and I'm going to be walking through with you on how to respond to CTA contracts. Oops. So like many of the other government agencies, we've shifted over to electronic bidding for all of our contracts. And you can do so through our e-procurement portal, Bonfire, and the web link there is below, transitchicago.bonfirehub.com. And this is where you can download contract documents, receive notifications when addenda are posted, and submit your bid or proposal all electronically from home. So we no longer have paper submission, so everything is now done electronically. So using our Bonfire portal, you can register to view our current opportunities, submit your responses. Important to note that registration is simple, it takes just a few minutes, and it is completely free. And when you register, we encourage you to select your NACES codes that you're interested in receiving notifications for. That way, when a new opportunity is posted, you'll receive a notification automatically based on that NACES code. And this is an example of screens that you'll see on our Bonfire portal. You'll be able to see important dates like when it was posted, when questions are due, and when the responses are due. You'll also be able to see events such as a pre-bid meeting or pre-proposal meeting, as well as other relevant documents such as the solicitation, plus time extensions, addenda, question and responses to questions, and so on and so forth. In addition to our Bonfire portal, we also post our procurement opportunities in the Chicago Tribune, and you will also receive email notifications if you've registered based on your NACES codes. We have a variety of solicitation methods that we receive our procurements through, or that we go out for our procurements through. We have invitation for bids, request for proposals, letters of interest and qualifications, and requests for information. And I'll go into detail on these in just a moment. And then you'll see kind of the examples of what we buy for each of these procurement types. So the most traditional method is the invitation for bid. This is typically used for buying commodities or products or services where it's an hourly rate. Contracts are awarded to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Lowest being self-explanatory, the lowest price. Responsive meaning that the bidder meets the specifications and the conditions in the bid. Important to note here is not to take exceptions. If you take exceptions, your bid will be rejected as non-responsive. Responsible means that the vendor itself is suitable and has the ability to perform the contract. In addition, if there is a DBE goal or an SBE goal on the contract to be found eligible for award, you must meet that goal or confirm good faith efforts in trying to meet that goal. The next procurement type we have is our request for proposals. In contrast to an IFB, price is a factor, but it's not the determinative factor. There's a variety of criteria that will be listed in the RFP. Price will be a component. However, there may be elements such as technical capacity, quality of staff, project implementation, and these will be listed in the RFP itself and put into rank order of the most important to the least important. And then an evaluation committee will be the one to actually score the proposals and establish which vendors, the scores, and rank the vendors. And then there may be an opportunity where CTA requests vendors in the competitive range to make oral presentations to clarify their proposal or provide additional information. Important here, since RFPs aren't necessarily for a specific product, it could be a service, and it's going to be described in the RFP. So when responding, it's important to provide what's being asked for and to describe what's being asked for, how you've done these services in the past. The more information you're able to provide that responds to what's being asked for, that will give the evaluation committee a better understanding of your strengths in that area. Our third solicitation type is our letters of interest and qualifications. And this is what's called a qualification-based selection process. Typically only used for architectural and engineering contracts. And these, actually they're only used for architectural and engineering contracts. And unlike the other two procurement types, price doesn't come in until the evaluation committee has scored and found the most qualified respondent. And then the most qualified respondent will then negotiate with CTA to establish fair and reasonable compensation. So this is strictly based on the qualifications of the respondent. Like an RFP, there is an evaluation committee, and there will be criteria that are established in rank order. However, there will be no price proposal at the time responses are submitted. And then finally, our last procurement method that we use isn't necessarily a method that will lead to the award of a contract, but it may lead to a future procurement to go out for an IFB, an RFP. And this is what it's called a request for information. And we'll use this when we are looking to see what's out on the marketplace, but we don't have enough information necessarily to develop a full scope for an RFP or specifications. So this is an opportunity for vendors to show their capabilities and concepts and technologies. So if we issue an RFI, this is the time to kind of show what's out there and what your competitive advantages are. However, this doesn't necessarily lead directly to the award of a contract. To receive a contract, there'd be another follow-on procurement to an RFI. In order to succeed or have a better chance of succeeding on a CTA contract, you should have a list of your knows. Know your business, what services you provide and what you can provide for CTA. Know your capacity. CTA contracts can involve, we have a very large system, and while we do try to break it up to make sure the contracts are of a manageable size, we do have a very large service area and have multiple requirements. So know that you should know how much you can take on when preparing a response to a procurement. Know your competitive advantages, so what separates you from your competitors. And then knowing our website. There's a wealth of information on our website about upcoming opportunities, our buying plan, information about our policies and regulations that we follow. And we encourage you, in addition to signing up with your NACES codes, to just check out our website every once in a while and our e-procurement platform to see what opportunities are out there, so you don't accidentally miss something that you might be interested in. Also, if you are looking to subcontract, knowing the prime contractors. For our larger contracts, we'll sometimes have meet and greets after a pre-proposal or a pre-bid meeting to give an opportunity for networking, where you can reach out to the prime contractors to show what your competitive advantages are. And these last two bullet points kind of go hand in hand, knowing the contract and knowing the paperwork. The contract is what defines your relationship with CTA. So if there's ever any question between what's expected of you and between yourself and CTA, the contract is going to explain what's expected. So in terms of how often you need to provide service, when you need to be on site, what what qualifications are required. That's all going to be spelled out in the contract, as well as terms and conditions for payment. So we encourage you to read through the contract when you are preparing your bid or proposal. And to the extent you have questions, use a question and answer opportunity or pre-bid meeting to get those questions asked to get clarification. And then knowing the paperwork, we have a variety of certifications that need to be filled out. And it's important when filling out the paperwork and the certifications that nothing is left blank or incomplete, because that can jeopardize your procurement or your response to the procurement, that it may be rejected as non-responsive. Kind of tying into that, here are kind of some of the most frequently seen issues in purchasing that can cause a bid to be rejected or a proposal to be rejected. By far, signatures tend to be the biggest issue, either that it's a certification or a bid package hasn't been signed, or it's been signed by the incorrect person. Under our contracts, the president or vice president has to sign. Anybody else needs to show they have the authority to bind the company. So if you're, contract manager or something, you'd need to provide some kind of letter or corporate minutes or some documentation that shows on behalf of the company, you're able to execute bids for them. For our contracts, if we are requesting that all line items be bid, if you fail to bid on them, your bid may be rejected. Listing subcontractors is another issue that can sometimes arise and cause delays in the procurement process, or could render your procurement, your bid to be rejected. And then some of these other ones are kind of after the contract has been awarded. If you are a subcontractor and you're part of the team that's awarded a contract, establish communication up front with the prime about what's expected of you and when key milestone dates are. Important also is if you're asked to perform extra work, that you get clarification from the prime that CTA has authorized that work. Sometimes just issues can arise between subcontractor and prime contractor that could have been avoided if the two had established communication sooner before a problem arose. Finally, paperwork, during the life of the contract needs to be provided, such as payments or subcontractors or payroll for prevailing wage work. And then finally, review the special conditions. Sometimes, like I said earlier, these are going to spell out when contractor staff need to be on site or when they have to come in for delivery, to the loading dock or whatnot. And failing to abide by those can cause delays or issues that can, cause issues down the line. So review it, make sure you understand it, and if there's questions, use that question and answer opportunity during the beginning of the procurement process to get clarification. And this is an example of our bonfire portal and some of our current opportunities. New opportunities are being posted all the time, so bookmark the page. It's transitchicago.bonfirehub.com. And in addition to registering with your NACES code, just set a calendar reminder to go to the website every once in a while to see what's out there and download the bid packages if you're interested in responding. A couple of our upcoming opportunities that are either out on the street right now or will be coming up in the near future is our grade level industrial window cleaning at CTA locations. That's part of our SBE program that Chanel talked about earlier, as well as our maintenance, construction, job order, contracting services, our main contract, which is also part of the SBE contract program. We also have court reporting services and then projects for our red line extension program that will be coming out later this year and early next year. For example, we have the real estate property management services and demolition services as well. And as Chanel mentioned, we have our buying plan that gives about an 18 months look ahead for upcoming procurement opportunities. And now I think Chanel and I will open it up to questions if there are any.
Feel free to use the chat and the Q&A boxes to to ask your questions. And in addition to putting your questions in the chat box, I'll also be sending this presentation to everyone on the call. So you will have a copy of the presentation as well. Okay, we have a question. It says, where do we find the info on contracts awarded after bidding?
So yeah, I'll take this question. So we have our vendor contract and payment website, which you can find on our website, and that will have information about who was awarded a contract and payments to the contractor and their subcontractors as well. Additionally, if you've bid on a contract, you will receive a letter either indicating that you've been awarded the contract or that you've not been awarded the contract. So you'll get, if you've bid on the project, you'll receive a notification. But otherwise, you can go to our vendor contract and payment site to get additional information if you're not a bidder.
We have another question. The transitchicagobonfire.com is the website that we can find out who won.
No. I'll pop that web link in right now, actually. And Chanel, if you would follow up when you send out the presentation. Let's see, 1 second. I just put it in the chat. It's vcsearch.transitchicago.com. So that's our vendor contract and payment website. And you can look up, we have almost 20 years of contract data on there in terms of who's been awarded the contract. But again, if you've bid on the project, you will be notified when the contract is awarded.
Okay, there aren't any additional questions. This concludes our webinar for today. And thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, everyone. You have a great day.
for DBE subs. I don't know if they have a firm deadline, but I would say as soon as possible, because design's continuing, engineering is continuing, and for both electrical and mechanical, they're gonna need to get all of their utilization plan in place. So we will get those contacts to CTA today, we'll get distributed, and we'll get that, make sure that you'll have a chance to connect with them directly.
Someone asked, when are the masonry bids due?
They were due last Friday, but again, we've had a couple stragglers, so we can get that package to you.
Top priority, Richard.
Next, I saw that there is a bid package for the loading dock equipment.
That should be one of the upcoming bid packages, so.
Yeah, that hasn't gone out.
So those will be on the lookout for that. Joseph, if you are registered in Building Connected, then you'll see an invitation to bid. If you are not, make sure you get your contact info to us.
And the follow-up to that question is there a bid package for the overhead ceiling doors as well?
Yes, we're getting ready to publish that. That hasn't been published yet.
Thank you, everyone, for all of your questions. Are there any other questions out there? Either raise your hand, we can unmute you, put in the Q&A or the chat. Sounds like from what Javed and Jenny are saying, make sure that you connect with them. Chanel, can you put the contact page back up? The previous slide here. So you've got, oh, there you go. So you've got Javed and Jenny's contact information. Make sure you take that down, send them an email, introduce yourself. If you're not already familiar with them, you should definitely be adding them as part of your network. Clark not only has CTA projects, but other private and public projects. So, you know, we definitely want you to work on CTA projects, but we also want you to look for opportunities elsewhere as well to diversify your portfolio. It sounds like Javed and Jenny keep saying, get on Business Connect. Let's get you registered on Business Connect so that you can receive all those solicitations that they put out. So please make sure to contact them as soon as you can if you're not already in contact with them. We're not seeing any other questions. Again, I'd like to thank the CTA and Clark teams for helping put this together. And to all our participants, thank you for jumping on today. We will follow up with an email with the contact information for the subprimes that Clark has that are looking for DBE sub-tier primes or sub-tier contractors. And then this recording, like I said, will be posted shortly, probably late this week, if not early next week, on our YouTube channel, CTA Doors Opening.